Welcome to Teaching Truth. Claridge's in the heart of London's Mayfair is a 5-star luxury hotel favoured by royalty and celebrities. With timeless elegance, obsessive attention to detail, and where every whim of the customer is catered for, Claridge's Hotel is the epitome of unbridled luxury. Filmed at Claridge's over 6 years, the Mayfair Hotel megabuild was a fascinating and recent 3-part documentary which followed the most audacious hotel upgrade ever attempted at Claridge's. It followed the ambitious and indeed challenging project to dig out a 5-story mega basement with swimming pool and health spa, add 4 new floors and create London's most exclusive penthouse, complete with, wait for it, its own private lake at the cool cost of £100,000 per night. All to ensure Claridge's, a traditional hotel which has survived for over 200 years, is well placed to thrive in the next 200. Claridge's, a traditional hotel, a dwelling place which has survived for over 200 years. In our reflections this week, we want to focus not on the dwelling place of Claridge's, but a dwelling place which survived not for 200 years, but for around 400 years, and a more basic, but nonetheless elegant dwelling place. I'm referring, of course, to the tabernacle of Moses, which was set up in the desert. And in a different kind of way, there was obsessive attention to detail in terms of how the tabernacle in the desert was constructed. Down to the last tent peg, down to the very hem in the curtain, down to each part of furniture. In each and every way, each part was spiritually significant. There was obsessive attention to detail because God wanted it to be that way. As we journey with Moses from the cradle to the grave, we come this week to look at the dwelling place that is the tabernacle. And we want to first of all read about the instruction which Moses received in relation to constructing the tabernacle. Exodus 25. Have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. Make this tabernacle and all its furnishings exactly like the pattern I will show you. The Hebrew word mikshan means dwelling place, and the tabernacle, which lasted around 400 years and which took 7 months to build, was the dwelling place of God. It was the place where the people, the Israelites, would have the opportunity to commune with God. The tabernacle was for 400 years a place for God to dwell among his people and where his people could commune with him. See, throughout Israel's history, there had been and was a propensity towards idolatry, worshipping other gods, small g. And therefore the tabernacle, this physical construction, stood as a physical as well as visual reminder to Israel, to the Israelites, that they served the one and true living God, the God who had brought them out of where they had been, out of Egypt, the God who had brought them through the Red Sea, the God who had provided manna for them, the God who had provided water from the rock. This was to be a visual reminder of the God whom they served. You see, the tabernacle was a graphic portrayal of God's redemptive program for Israel. Every aspect of the tabernacle was in one way or another hugely significant. There was obsessive attention to detail. Every element within the tabernacle fulfilled a specific purpose. From the brazen altar where sacrifices were offered for sin, to the mediating high priest who offered the sacrificial blood on the mercy seat, all of this and more pointed to God's redemptive plan. The purpose of the tabernacle, it was not some haphazard construction in the desert. No, because everything designed by God has a purpose. And so the tabernacle was a human material construction born out of a divine spiritual conception. The tabernacle was a human material construction born out of divine spiritual conception. Its purpose was predominantly to enable worship to be undertaken in spirit and in truth. The purpose of the tabernacle was also to point to the purity that was required, the purity of God. The tabernacle also pointed to the provision of God, and how when that high priest offered the sacrifice, how God provided that redemptive plan for people to have their sins forgiven. And the tabernacle was also to point to Jesus Christ and the great sacrifice that he, as our high priest, would one day offer. In our reflections this week, we're looking at Moses and the building, the tabernacle, which was the dwelling place of God. Join me tomorrow in Teaching Truth as we look at the pattern of this dwelling place, the pattern of the tabernacle.